First, quick story about Andrew. Andrew's a great guy. Andrew's from Texas, and his heart will always be there. Andrew grew up and was raised to believe that if he works hard, studies hard, and is just an all-around nice guy, the world will be his oyster. And that's what he set out to do. Andrew is actually pretty bright as well. He's a master in finance student at CUNY, and he speaks 5 languages. And after undergrad, Andrew came to the big city of New York, got a great job, and he was like, hey, I made it. I should be the king of this apple. And it didn't go exactly according to plan. So, being the sharp fellow that he was, he asked around, and he asked someone he thought that could answer that question. And he asked his buddy Chris, and he said, yo, what am I doing wrong? What am I missing? Chris had the answer immediately. Your clothing doesn't look as amazing as you are. That was a fact. Andrew, again, being the overachiever that it is, he got right on that and went out, again, got a great job, decent budget, and went out to find clothing and improve his wardrobe. And that's where we hit the problem that most men run up into in the fashion industry. Men hate buying clothing. It's not inherently pleasant for most guys, on average, the shopping experience, fashion experience. There's an abundance of bad advice, which makes the market completely chaotic, and often find themselves engaged with pushy salespeople that are completely self-interested. So Andrew found himself in the quagmire that most gentlemen find themselves in when they go shopping for clothing, and in a fit of frustration and anguish, he called a fashionista friend of his and said, please help me, I don't know what I'm doing. She said, get out of that store immediately, you're wasting your money there. Buy me dinner, and I'll make you look amazing. And so Andrew got himself a personal styling session from his friend, and several hours later, Andrew became quite a dapper gentleman. And Andrew from Texas became Dappr Drew of New York. And no surprise, his life completely changed. No joke. The difference was amazing. His boss spoke to him with more respect, treated him differently. His colleagues engaged him differently. They were more interested in all aspects of his life that he was studying. Women were complimenting him on the train and speaking to them for his entire commute. He's hanging out on boats, right? He's the king of the world. Like, and he goes back to Chris. He's like, did you know that this would happen? And I'm like, yes, that's why I told you to do it. And he's amazed. And being the just generous, great guy that he is, and passionate and ambitious, Andrew had an idea. He's like, I want to share this experience. I want to share this power with every guy in the world. What if I started a business called Dappr that connects men with personal stylists to help them gain the respect and the confidence and the feeling that comes from optimizing their wardrobe and their appearance? And so he proposed this idea to Chris, and guess what he said? Let's do it, right? And so the partnership began, and we got to work, and we celebrated. And the next day, we were like, all right, let's get down to business. So, serious stuff. Big picture, macro, menswear in the US, $9 billion industry. Peculiar fact, it's only a third of what women's wear is, which would imply that there's 3x growth in the industry. As of the last 5 years, it's been growing at a slightly faster clip than women's wear. It's about 20% up globally in the last 5 years or so. Another interesting thing to note in the market, these guys at Mintel did a really good survey and found that about a quarter of guys they surveyed said that they would like help with the decision in what to buy. And we think that's at the crux of cracking the menswear market. Now, $9 billion industry, that should be a $30 billion industry. Obviously, there are a lot of big players in it. You got a bunch of guys over here that talk about clothing. You got people who design and make clothing. And then you got a bunch of people who sell clothing. And all that makes the $9 billion. But what none of these big companies, $100 million companies do is help guys with the decision process. And that's what Dappr does differently. Recently, there's been a lot of, it's been very trendy, these subscription boxes. There's been a lot of money put into them, mixed results. But again, they're curated, but they're not bespoke. And they don't help gentlemen with the styling decision. So, with the help of CUNY startups, we went and did some experiments and tested our hypothesis. We rounded up a bunch of stylists in New York, a bunch of guys in our personal network and extended networks, and we offered a variety of services. We had home, closet organizations and styling sessions. We did personal shopping sessions. We did group styling sessions. We sold these at the rates shown on our website, and all in all, we had amazing feedback. Everyone had, all the guys that we serviced had that aha moment, the feedback that's, from their life that said, wow, my life has completely changed. People are treating me differently. I feel it, and it's a subtle but change in my appearance, but a huge impact in my interactions. Several have come back and bought more time with personal stylists. In our group sessions, interestingly enough, we had 100% purchase rate with no returns from that we're aware of in those sessions, which lead us to believe that some of our hypothesis around the decision-making process being that nut to crack to get men to buy and want to buy clothing is on the right track. So in these last 4 minutes of are you wrapping 4 months of experiments, we learned a few things. Again, men want to invest in clothes. They don't necessarily want to stay on top of fashion and be trendy, but they want assets that will give them a return and the result that comes from that asset. Secondly, the uncertainty is the key issue. And once they get through that and they have the help, they see the value and the dividends of being styled is huge. This was surprising to us that men actually start getting giddy and excited about buying clothing once they are coached, which I thought that was quite fascinating. That's something we saw time and time again. And then this is another interesting thing that's directing our forward moving actions is that stylists are struggling to be solopreneurs. The process of managing a styling business is very different than styling on its own. So go forward is to turn our website into more of from a sales platform into more of a marketplace where guys like Andrew can meet fashionable coaches like Thomas over there.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to cut you off, right?
Okay.
All right.
We got a blog. Next steps is to complete the website, get more stylists, new accelerator, add video content, and partner with resellers, essentially coaches who are already improving people's lives. And this is our team. Wait, that's not the right Andrew. That's the right Andrew.
Okay.
And we're Dappr.
Great. All right. Okay, so yeah, you are in the middle of realizing it should be a marketplace, right? While originally you were thinking it should be just one-on-one styling services, or what was sort of the journey of the business model?
Yeah, I mean, that's precisely it. Okay, this is a value. Let's connect and sell that service and pitch it. And found that that, again, is going to be an onerous process, but we thought it would be worth doing just to get the feedback and see the granular interactions of what people liked and what they didn't like. Why aren't they using these subscription boxes, or why are they canceling them typically after three months? And then finding that stylists will actually do all the work. They want to do the work. They are doing the work, but giving them a platform to present themselves, present their unique edge on style, their unique take, and facilitating those individual connections. And then, again, you have your own personal tour guide through Fashion Maze.
So are you trying to now sort of mock up what a marketplace might look like? Is that where you're at the moment?
Exactly. Now, again, we have stylists. They can post their profiles, but the next step is to make the website such that it's like Airbnb, where you can just go on and book your session with the stylist directly without really using us as a middleman.
I see. Okay.
But yeah,
Any other questions?
Up there and you can book sessions with them now.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, so you said men, and I like, how are you going to find the Andrews? Like, how are you finding those guys and getting them on the platform?
Right, so I think focusing on the reseller partnerships and coaches, what we found, again, someone like Andrew, again, he sought me out, and he said, hey, I want to make myself better. How do I do it? So leveraging people who have already hired a personal trainer, someone who's already hired a life coach or a dating coach, someone who's,
How are you getting those
looking for a
people?
job, partnering with those businesses and individuals who are already coaching for those things, and then saying, well, this is an add-on service. You have a client who's come to you, who's paying you to help you find a job, or to help you with dating, or to help you get in shape. Well, why are they trying to get in shape? Well, pass them on to us. Now that they're in shape, upgrade their wardrobe, explain how that's also going to affect their lifestyle, and we'll do a revenue sharing program with them. And the few conversations we have with people of that sort, they think that it's great, because they often recommend, hey, you should do that, but it's like, yeah, you should go do that.
Yeah, no, I like that. I think there's much bigger. You can get a lot more people too. I mean, you start going for like job interview focused things or career focused. I think, yeah, like you pick another couple of niches and try and pull those guys out. I mean, that's good, but don't focus on just one revenue.
Yeah, absolutely.
And as in any marketplace, you sort of need to decide, are you focusing on aggregating one side first or the other for the most part? I mean, you need both, but you need to focus on something early on. So what do you think you will be focusing on?
Creating the market is tough, as you said, for that reason. I think getting the stylists together is what we were thinking, get the clients, get the Andrews, but halfway through these last 4 months, we were like, actually get the stylist marketplace together, and get, again, more.
Do you have an idea how you could do that? How to reach the stylists?
We're obviously open to ideas, but we've been thinking about holding an event, catered to our stylists, and things of that sort, offering them free marketing and positions on our page, giving them just an outlet. A lot of stylists that we spoke to are just happy to have a blog and not have to create it all themselves. So being able to share their expertise and their take and their creative output through Dappr, and have a platform from that's very easy but not onerous for them to maintain. That's what we've done so far, and we're thinking an event of some sort, just to bring stylists together and essentially brainstorm and pick their brains on a more large scale.
So as a startup, what do you want to do next as the next steps?
Again, find an accelerator that's appropriate for us, and then again, make the website a marketplace, and that's particularly what we need funding for. And then creating video content to show the aha moment. And again, for the stylist's perspective and the Andrews, this is what it looks like, and go do a full styling session and video it completely and put that on online.
Okay.
I just want to ask too. So what's the cut? Like, what's your breakdown then? If you're charging 120, how much are you taking, and how
about
much
20%? We kind of consistently a 20% margin for us on all styling
whatever the
sessions.
package is.
Yeah, exactly. And again, because different stylists are going to have different rates as well. So again, like an Airbnb, again, maybe like essentially take maybe 10 up and 10 down. 10 from the stylist and then 10 from the Andrews.
Okay.
10% up and down in terms of our margin.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's about a 20% to us. And I think the big revenue items come when you have that network, and then you have partnerships with brands and your affiliate marketing, things of that sort, and you're steering the $9 billion industry.
Yeah.
Thank you.